من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البلد الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله عظيم صدق الله عظيم صدق الله عظيم Rabbi Zikni Ilma Rabbi Zikni Ilma Rabbi Zikni Ilma. This is the Black Pot aka Kukushonomo. Juma Mubarak to all Muslims. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the heathen, nor sitteth in the seat that is scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in this law does he hide sunrise and sundown. Him a go dear like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth fat fruit in his season. Him leaf never a go wither, and whatsoever him doeth shall prosper. Yay! The heathen them now their soul, them dear like a chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the heathen them never go turn upon judgment of the sinner man them in the congregation are the righteous. For the Lord God Jah loveth the way of the righteous and the way of the sinner man them. Always and always I go perish. Let the people of the Most High God say, Joe Kadamawe Grumabe Ate La E Igzag Beer Tanaista Lena Bashante Shante Shante Shante. This is the Black Pot aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. How Mausobo Lisa Adanu Wato it was secular for. How Atanyu Moe Atanyu Moe Atanyu Moe. Oh you aladong. Oh you aladong. Oh you aladong. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Black Rasta. Now, in every traditional African home, there is a black pot. And each time this black pot sits on the fire, there is something sumptuous cooking. Oh yes, ingredients of so many different types, shapes and sizes, aromas and flavors put aside, relegating to the very background all these differences and relocating in unison right into the black pot to be subjected to some amount of heating. They produce sumptuous food in all its palatability and sumptuousness. Ironically, the ingredients and the black pot do not partake in the eating of the food. It is us, the eaters, who do. And yet every time there is the need to produce more food, the ingredients and the black pot would always rise to the occasion to produce food. This is the black pot. What do we learn from this? It's a lesson of selflessness. How many of us believe that, we struggle so much and work so hard to have it, therefore nobody is deserving of coming around our booty? How many people believe that we just have to use it all today, after all tomorrow will take care of itself? How many people believe that, whatever we have today is for us alone? When the next generation comes, that's if there's any next generation at all, they would also find what is important. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, one more time, Black Rasta. Now this is the show of patriotism. No politics, no sports, at the same time no religion. That is why we say we are in the service of God and country. Here we don't criticize, but if we must criticize, we would only just criticize to build and never ever to destroy. This is the Black Pot, and we are live on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Black Empire Media, and Black is spelled B-L-A-K-K. Yes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notification button so that anytime we are on, Monday to Friday, between 5 and 6 p.m. Ghana time, you know that you'll be notified to watch us. Do me a favor, kindly share this broadcast. We are also live on Facebook. Our name on Facebook is Black Empire Media. Please click on the notification button, share this broadcast, and encourage other people to subscribe like you have done. That is the way the message will spread. Put it out on Facebook. Hit it up everywhere on social media that we are on live and the fire is going to blaze. We are rescuing our nation, rescuing our continent without looking at any face. The people we draw close to us are those who have the same heart beating for the nation. Those who don't have it, we load them and send them away if we can't change them. This is the Black Port, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. And I want to say thank you so much to ISIT, ISIT, in spirit, in truth. It's a new social media app modeled by Ghanaians in America. And this app is doing magic. Everybody's talking about it. Now, if your regular social media platform is nothing but negative, it gives you only racism, nudity, and even violence, this is the app that you deserve. Ditch that one and come straight up to ISIT in spirit, in truth, just like its name is all truthful. There's no negativity on ISIT. Oh yes, it's a very powerful platform. And what it does is this. Oh my God, have mercy. Hear me now. What ISIT does is this. You can go live on ISIT. You can make video and audio calls, and you will meet other positive-minded people. Again, you have the opportunity to promote your brand and to sell yourself, meeting other very positive-minded people. Yes, connect with family and friends. Make clear memories that will stand the test of time. Cast in brick and concrete, stone and concrete, never on the sand. This is the Black Port, aka Kukushonomo. And you can get ISIT right there on Google Play and App Store. Download that for free and be part of the ISIT family. From next week, we are also going to be streaming live on ISIT. This is the Black Port, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. Today we have 5 very powerful issues to look at. Please, I need you to come along. Number 1, watch it. It rolls. And I'm angry. Africans have civilization problem. And who is saying this? This is this idiot saying that. He is the Prime Minister of France. He's an idiot. And this guy needs to respect. He's a little boy who needs to respect. Africa is the motherland. Yes, we have some of our indigenes who have no brains, but Africa is the custodian of wisdom. If you are talking about Africa, be careful. Don't let your chemical weapons and weapons of destruction deceive you. Africa, anybody who wants to wipe out Africa should first wipe out God. My brother, my sister, I saw this in circulation a few hours ago, and I got very mad. Now, who is Emmanuel Macron? He was born in December 1977. 1977. So that makes him how many years? 1977. He is 56 years. 46 years, I beg your pardon. 46. He's married to a woman who was born 4 years before Ghana became independent from the Gold Coast. The woman was born in 1953. The woman was his teacher. And she used to like him as a little boy. But romance has nothing to do with age, as long as you reach the age of what? Consent. Yes, consent. Let's get deeper into it. Watch me. Emmanuel Macron came to Ghana the other day, and he was able to get our president, Nana Akufo-Addo, dance in front of him with all jingoisms and gymnastics, talking about that thing that has lived to hound the president all this while. Africa without aid, Ghana without aid. How many of us remember that? When Emmanuel Macron came here, born in 1977, this president has children older than Emmanuel Macron. In Africa, we respect grace, and then we also respect old age. You can't take that away from us. So you will see a man tell somebody, I have a son who is older than you, or who is just your age. He's trying to tell you that I could just be your father. So when you talk to me with respect. When Emmanuel Macron came here, he was talking about aid for Africa, talking about how they could collaborate and do things in this country. And Mr. President took the microphone and gave us a whole lecture about Africa without aid, Ghana without aid. In no time, shamelessly, they ran to the IMF begging for money. In no time, they went to the European Union and all the other places trying to look for as much money as they could in terms of begging. Today, we have one of the most expensive holes, HOLES, in the world, and we should go into the Guinness Book of Records, and that is the Cathedral Hole. They dug the hole, the foundation is not even there, and it cost them 110 million Ghana cedis. It's the most expensive hole, good for nothing hole. My brother, my sister, we don't have it, yet we waste it. It's a paradox. What you don't have, you can't use. But in Ghana, we use what we don't have. We borrow. Emmanuel Macron was in this country. The president embarrassed him and put him in his place by telling him that you're coming here. We are not looking for you to come and give us pittance. It's about time we stood on our own 2 feet to work very hard as African people and be able to get it for ourselves through our sweat and toil. We all applauded the president. We are tired of begging. We are tired of any Tom, Dick, and Harry, circumcised or uncircumcised, Gentile or Pharisee, coming into our country and giving us anything, any rotten carrot. Enough is enough. We want to earn it through sweat and toil. How many of us clapped for the president? I talked about this issue for more than 3 months. I was overly excited. I want to see a better Ghana. Emmanuel Macron went back to France and laughed at this president because they started talking and all he wanted was give me, give me, give me, give me. We have a problem with common sense. This was the same president who was flying in chartered flights. He wanted a bigger one, flying all over the world. When Emmanuel Macron is busily riding a bicycle, when British office holders are riding bicycles. In Holland, it is the same thing. But we have a problem. Look at this oversized suit he's wearing. Yet he feels comfortable in it. And our textile industry is dying. Where is the common sense? Where is it? You wear a suit tailored in England, tailored in France, yet you have your own textile industry here that is dying, not slowly, dying geometrically, full speed. Who cares us? So now any Tom, Dick, and Harry can open their mouths and insult us because our leaders have no common sense. My brother, look at what Emmanuel Macron said. It breaks my heart. Watch it. And this is from the Independent. How many of us know the Independent? Emmanuel Macron claims Africa held back by civilizational problems and women having 7 or 8 children. Can you see that? And when you come down a little bit, it says, French president criticized for failing to acknowledge colonial role at G20. And this is when? Tuesday, 11th July, 2017. Right? Run the story, my youth. Watch me. Come here. Emmanuel Macron has been criticized for claiming civilizational problems and women having 7 or 8 children are hampering development in African nations. While speaking at the G20 summit, the French president was asked about the possibility of implementing a policy in the continent like America's Marshall Plan for rebuilding Europe after the Second World War. The problems Africa faces today are completely different and are civilizational. Mr. Macron told a reporter from former French colony, the Ivory Coast. What are the problems? He said failed states, complex democratic transitions, and extremely difficult demographic transitions. In a lengthy reply, Mr. Macron also listed issues including Islamist terrorism, drugs and weapons trafficking, but said there were examples showing the continent is a land of opportunity. He said that although France, a former colonial power that controlled dozens of territories across Africa, accepted responsibility to help, the word there is help, with infrastructure, education and health, a simple money transfer was not the answer. It's by a more rigorous governance, a fight against corruption, a fight for good governance, a successful demographic transition when countries today have 7 or 8 children per woman, Mr. Macron said. At the moment, spending billions of euros outright would stabilize nothing. So the transformation plan that we have to conduct together must be developed according to African interests, by and with African leaders. The excerpt of his speech on Saturday went largely unnoticed during the wide-ranging G20 summit, which saw violent protests erupt in Hamburg. But an edited clip of his response being shared on social media has since provoked outrage, with critics accusing the French president of blaming women for poverty and buying into racial stereotypes. France's Liberation newspaper pointed to research by a prominent political scientist, including that blaming overpopulation for poverty and African women for overpopulation, distracted from the role of former colonial powers like France and the UK. Dash it away. So, brethren, this is what it is. Macron in his own country had a lot of civil unrest. We all remember the yellow vests fighting him in France, sometimes even throwing rotten apples at him. We all saw how they took over the city of Paris and beyond. How sometimes police had to be called in to beat up some of the people and drag them on the floor like common chattel. That is civilization. My brother, my sister, we saw how France, in the days of de Gaulle and even beyond, came over into Africa, raped our women, stole from us our gold, our diamond, our uranium, and carried everything back into France. We all remember in the 60s how they went to Guinea, Conakry, and the rest of the so-called Francophone, and asked them if they wanted independence, because they had started fighting for their own independence after Ghana showed them the way. Nkrumah pushed them to chase France out. So when France became utterly frightened, it decided to ask in a referendum, do you want us to stay or do you want us to go? Guinea voted them out. You know what France did? We have said it time and again on this show. We will say it until everybody hears it. Come here! France decided that because Guinea voted, go, we don't want you. They broke every infrastructure that they brought up. Like Citizen Kofi. If France built it, they would break everything down and carry concrete and even carry wood and iron panels back to France. They carried even cups and spoons and forks that they brought into the country. The drainage system that they were able to build, they filled that with fresh concrete, silting it up so that no more water would pass through. That was what France did to Guinea. And told the rest of the Francophone nations, Abi, they see, Tu vois ça, n'est-ce pas? You see that? Any one of you that will say, France, go, we will do the same thing to them. This is a slavish mentality, Willie Lynch syndrome. How many of us have read a little bit of history? In the days of slavery, when African men, very strong, were carried with their women and children into slavery, you know what the slave thief did? He decided to tie the man to 2 horses. One leg here to one horse, another leg to one horse. Whilst he was beating him, the more you struggle, the more you agitate the horses to try and tear apart. So you have to lie down quietly for you to be beaten to death. Whilst you were being beaten, your wife and children were standing there watching you. And you know the symbol of Africa, the man is the Almighty. He is the head of the house. A woman can cry, the children can cry, but no man is supposed to cry. They will beat the hell out of you. And when you start screaming, "Aye! Aye!" then your wife is standing and say, "Oh, I thought my husband was that much of a macho man. Look at him crying and begging these guys for mercy. It means these guys are even greater than my husband." They put that thing in the minds of our women in the days of slavery. They brought our men down to the level that they went on their knees begging. So the women now left the macho husbands and they agreed to sleep with a slave, so-called slave master. Some of them were even raped utterly. And in the cases where some of the men were killed, they left them in the open. Sometimes they had a stick pushed into their heads and planted into the ground to warn other people, if you misbehave like this guy, that is how you would end. It's the same mentality France took to Guinea. Today they claim they are civilized. Listen to what Emmanuel Macron said. That African women are having too many children. 7, 8. And that our problem in Africa is civilizational. Do you know what it means? It means we are not civilized. How would you get respect when every now and then you are running to them and asking them to give you peanuts to eat? How would you get respect when you have all the gold and diamond and bauxite, yet you are always poor? It means you are an idiot. How would you get respect from these people when every now and then, when your citizen gets a visa to go into their country, it's like they are going to heaven? They organize a huge party and dance. Meanwhile, when they are coming here, they wear shorts. They go to your embassy today, get the visa today, sit on the plane today, land in your country today in shorts. Sometimes they don't even tell anybody that they are going anywhere because they don't see themselves as going anywhere. But when you get the visa, you start looking for a new suit. You start watching their channel. If it's France, you go to France 24. You want to develop the French accent. Oh, you want to even get acquainted to what is happening in France. Oh, you want to be able to even, feel French. When you get a visa to go to England, you start listening to BBC so you can develop the accent, right? When you get a visa to America, VOA. Yet when they get a visa to come here, it's like they are doing us a favor. When they go to our embassies, they are all investors. But when we go to their embassies, we are what? Laborers. You need to hear it again, brethren. When they go to our embassies to get visas, they are investors and expatriates or tourists. But when we go to their embassies, we are laborers and refugees. How would you get respect, brethren? How many of us have been refused visas and we collapsed? How many of us committed suicide? All because we were refused a visa. Show me one white man in England, America, or even China who committed suicide because he didn't get a visa to Ghana. One. And I'll show you a country without a flag. Why? Why? Listen to the rot. The rot, my brother, my sister, that a 45-year-old boy who happens to be a president of a country is telling us. An idiot. One country telling the whole continent that we have a civilizational problem. Forgetting that you idiots were those who came and messed it up for us. I'm so angry and mad. You were those who came even after colonialism. You were still tying your girdles to our girdles and dragging us like horses drag human beings around. They will loan their own money to them with commercial interests. Why? What's wrong with us? What is wrong with us? As I'm speaking, somebody is busily looking for a visa to go to France. And if he doesn't get that visa, he has a bottle of poison that he's going to drink and die. As we are speaking, somebody is going to a pastor to give him anointing oil so that he will bath before he goes to the French embassy for a visa. As we are speaking, somebody is almost about to kill himself because he didn't get a French visa. I'm not saying going to France is bad. It's not bad to go anywhere in the world. You are a tourist. It depends on what you want to go and do. My problem is when you make other people's country better than your own country. They say nobody ever points a left finger at his own house. Not in Ghana, not in Africa. Our houses, this is my house, this is my house, this is my house. I met a number of people in England who didn't want to be called African. They were British. They developed a new accent. I'm British. You are foolish. I saw a number of them in England. Ghanaians that we went to school. Wait. They tell you they are British. Innit? They are British, innit? My brother, when is our nation going to develop? Or you don't care? As long as you are comfortable, you die and go. Your children can hang themselves. You don't mind. After all, you are dead. The dead do not talk. Emmanuel Macron, bring his photo here. Emmanuel Macron, with all respect, you have touched the tail of a lion. It's very sad. My little boy, please apologize to the people of Africa. If you have forgotten, it's through African people that white people came out. So if African people are suffering civilizational problems, you as well are suffering from that. After all, cotton one man. It's about time you apologize for this foolish speech that you made. You can ban me from going to France. I don't care. I love France. I would love to go to France. While I wait time, I've been to France 3 times or 2 times all my life. The longest I have ever been there was 8 days. The first time I went to France, I was there for 4 hours from Holland, drove in. If because of what I've said, you won't give me a visa, to God be the glory. So you see, how can we make Ghana France? That's what we have to be thinking about. The fast trains. How can we make ourselves respected? How can we have visionary leaders with common sense, not big heads like buffoons? How can we have leaders who are ready to sacrifice and fast, not leaders with pot bellies? I'm speaking proverbially. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs 29 verse 2 that what? When the righteous rule, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people groan and moan and suffer. To God be the glory. This is the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushono. Bring the photo of Nana Akufo-Addo. Apologize to you, a common human being, as compared to a great Ghana. We are now talking about Ghana. Write to Macron and tell him, Mr. Macron, we have a good relationship. You have said something about Africa that hurts me and the rest of Africa. We acknowledge that you might have made a mistake because we don't know what's in your mind. We expect you to apologize and withdraw within 7 days, or else we ban you from coming to Ghana, starting from Ghana. Let other African leaders take a decision. Does it make sense? Watch and see if this president will do that. Dash. Next story. NDC haters attack me for nothing. How many of us remember Chairman Rawlings? Anumantoa, Ojinao, Abuabekawa, Ofrantuma. At least he did well. His father was Scottish. His mother was Ebe, Ghanaian. He came in with red eyes trying to change the nation. He made a lot of mistakes along the line. He was swallowed by a certain ego. Some people see him as a great man who walked this earth. Others don't. Others have mixed feelings. But the history of Ghana will never ever end without mentioning this man who ruled the country far longer than any other man dead or alive. Rawlings. Oh yes, he left us with some legacies, including children from his very backbone. One of them is ZANETOR. I admire Rawlings for some things, and I laud him for some other things. One of the things is the fact that he saw himself as a Pan-African. A Pan-African who didn't recognize Nkrumah cannot be a full Pan-African. He was the one who said Nkrumah gave us only a national anthem and a flag. Did I quote him properly? He was the same man who said that Nkrumah ran down this country to the lowest ebb, and that they were all praying to have Nkrumah out. And when Nkrumah was removed, he had never seen happiness in Ghana like what he saw at the time. He said he was at Achimota Forest when he heard that Nkrumah had been overthrown. And the man who overthrew Nkrumah, Kotoka, in fact, he clapped for the man till he died. He was a hero in the books of Rawlings. That is why I cannot be a fan of Rawlings. And I made it known from when he was alive. Me and him had photos together and all that. To God be the glory. But I made it known. There were some nice traces of Rawlings, but there were some that were unpardonable, like his anti-Nkrumah stance. Yet his party was seen to be an Nkrumahist party. What a paradox. But, of course, it's good we have told you a little bit about Rawlings. Now let's go to ZANETOR. I love this young lady. She used to be an item with a man who was also so known. My brother, my sister. He was the one who brought DSTV to Ghana. At the point he became Asante Kotoko, board chairman, boss, whatever. Herbert Mensah. Herbert Mensah. Am I right? I think they even had a child. Then their story came in the papers. They were fighting each other. Some issues like that. But my brother, she moved on. Why am I bringing this story? It takes a strong woman to be able to withstand marital issues, relationships issues, especially when there are children involved. And then you move on. So she's a strong woman. She took her color from her father. When she went into politics, many were those who were not surprised. I like her. In fact, I appreciate her. ZANETOR. Oh, yes. The father named all of them after great African heroes. I don't want to go too much into that. My brother, today she has mentioned something and I'm going to give her the answer. Run it, my youth. What is she saying? Watch it. I have been insulted, hounded by NDC members who dislike me for no reason. Come here! Think say you day wise. I have been insulted, hounded by NDC members who dislike me for no reason. This is ZANETOR. Run it, my youth. Member of Parliament for Clote constituency, ZANETOR Ajimai Rawlings. The Ajimai is from her mother. The Rawlings is from her father. She's the only person I have seen in Ghana who combines the mother's surname and the father like that. This is beautiful. She represents everybody. It's beautiful. So if I was to also combine my father's side and my mother's side, I would be called Ahmed Adam Sabah Kumburwa. What a name. It will shake the ground. ZANETOR Ajimai Rawlings has stated that she is the victim of worst forms of abuse and treatment within the National Democratic. I need you to underline that. We students of literature, we take very, 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 very judicious notes of some of these things. Critical. She said, she is there, not a victim. I am the victim of worst. It means nobody has been treated badly like she is going through. She stated that she is the victim of worst forms of abuse and treatment within the National Democratic Congress, NDC, despite her background. According to the first daughter of former President Jerry John Rawlings, she has never been the beneficiary of preferential treatment in the party, even though her father is the founder of the party, the NDC. I am having executives who decided that because they don't like me, they will work against me and all that. So I'm only saying this to let you see that the fact that we have been able to emerge and we are still working does not mean that we have not been through tough times. So you see what I mean? She's a strong woman. But the thing is, I believe that when your heart is clean and your intentions are good and people see that you mean well, those who matter will work with you and support you because they understand that the work you are doing is to support the community, and ultimately, I think that is what came through. But it's not been an easy journey. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that, yes, my father is the founder of the NDC. It did not stop people from doing what they did. I was not given professional treatment in terms of whether my seat was protected or not. He was alive when I was taken to court. And he was alive for my first 2 primaries. I was not given any special dispensation. I was not exempted from election or anything. She stated on Asempa FM's ecosystem program. ZANETOR, who was answering a question on whether she has had the benefit of professional treatment, was as a result of her gender, and history underscored some of her bitter experiences in politics. Dash. This is what it is. I want to believe that ZANETOR has understood that the father was an abrasive figure. He blew both hot and cold. He was the one who brought the so-called revolution to Ghana in 1979. He tied people's fathers to the stakes and shot them and killed them all in cold blood. Their children are still alive. Some of them are in politics. Their children have given birth to children. If their fathers were alive, they will be great-grandfathers now. Same way Rawlings has given birth to children, and they are also giving birth to children we should understand that it is a generational problem. It's not easy for me to come and join a party, and then all of a sudden, I want to support somebody whose father shot and killed my father so embarrassingly on a firing squad stake. In fact, in the case of even Afrifa, he was shot 3 times before he died. Pow! And then he slumped. When the people were about to move, he started shaking his body. They came back. Pow! Again. He slumped. Okay, let's go. As they were going, they heard him shouting, I'm not dead though. I'm not dead though. They came back and fired again. Pow! 3 times. My brother, these memories will continue. So my piece of suggestion, not advice to ZANETOR, is that you are not your father, but your father's blood runs inside you. Not everybody is going to love you. Not because of anything that you did, but because of that blood that is running inside you. Some of them who were stalwart supporters of your father might not even like you because they probably were bootlickers. Or they might even say, you are not your father after all. Why should they like you? In fact, be happy with the few that will come to you and show you genuine love. After all, the history of your father in Ghana blows both hot and cold. Just like me, I tell my children, when you grow, never ever think everybody's going to love you. It's not possible. Because of who your father was, some of them couldn't get me to slaughter me. Now when they get to, they will slaughter you and use your body for ngongo. So be careful. What can save you is prayer. And again, the hard work that you are portraying and a clean heart. That the Gombe say, Mbudi ayo kuto dima. Ma nyao boni. Enti boni bia into me en kame. So think about it. It's good you are going in that on that tangent. I'm a hard-working person. I have a clean heart. Add prayer and continue the hard work. You shall succeed. We wish you all the best, and we are waiting to see you on the other side of the game. I will not be surprised if you are chosen as the running mate of Mahama. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it and peddling it around. And if you are chosen, I won't fight you. I might support you because you are not your father. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I will support you based on you, not on your father. Dash! My name is Blakk Rasta. When we return, we'll be reading your messages and we have more for you. Hey! Hey! Wayo! This is the Blakk Pot, aka Coco Show. Now, we appreciate you for joining us and we love you. Please share the broadcast and hits on social media that we are on. To God be the glory. It's all about Ghana. Nobody is bigger than the truth. Next story, my youth. I'm going to be very quick with this. It's an international story. It says Burkina feeds Niger after coup. Hey. Have you been to Burkina Faso before? It's dry. The mosquitoes there are like butterflies. Burkina Faso is one of the poorest nations in the world. But I love Burkina because it's part of Africa. And two, it has its own uniqueness when it comes to beauty. I go there every now and then. I even shot a music video there. My brother, my sister, Burkina, even though impoverished, is doing what Nkrumah would have applauded. Apart from two heads of this nation, no other person has ever sent aid to a country after a certain calamity. Nkrumah did that to Guinea. 10 million pounds he gave to the Guineans and said, build your country again, after France broke down everything and went away. Atta Mills, when in 2010 we had the earthquake in Haiti, he also carried money and sent it to the Haitians and said, please help rebuild your country. Apart from that, we are rather receiving. We are recipients. Yet the Bible says the hand that giveth is better than the hand that taketh, right? Run the story. This is going to be very quick. Clap for Burkina. Niger receives 265 trucks of basic supplies from Burkina Faso amid ECOWAS embargo. My God. There's an embargo from ECOWAS, our own ECOWAS, that they have removed a certain puppet of France and that they have asked France to leave. And France decided to stop all these Francophone countries. Their members from coming to France, they have denied all of them visas. Are you aware of that? So Nigerians, Burkinabés, Malians, they are all never able to go to France again just because of what happened. They have removed them from their countries. And ECOWAS has gone ahead to put sanctions on a country like Niger. And Burkina Faso says what? No, we can't sit down and watch this. They carried 265 trucks of basic supplies. What are the basic supplies? To the people to eat. After all, they are also human beings. Hey, do you remember the story of Jesus Christ and the widow? Do you remember the widow's mite? When people brought money, where everybody was showing money, the widow just brought something small. And Jesus Christ said, hey, this has touched my heart. I'm touched. This is the best I've received. Burkina, God bless you. Run the story. Watch me. ECOWAS slapped economic sanctions on Niger, including general and targeted sanctions on the landlocked country after the July 26 coup, including border closures and trade freeze. Already, the two countries have also agreed to a military-level agreement that allows Burkina Faso to deploy men and logistics to support Niger in case ECOWAS carries out a threat to militarily engage the junta. The regional bloc said 6 months back that it was ready to use its standby army to overturn the coup that removed Mohamed Bazoum from office. Already, the two countries have also agreed to a military-level agreement. That's what we just read, right? That's what it is. So Burkina Faso went there with tomatoes, onions, water, wherever, basic supplies, so that these people can also enjoy life. I clap for you. This is what Africa should be doing. We should stop crying to the West to come and support us when we have issues. We have to do that. My brother, my sister, why is Africa not supporting Africa? Every time you see that Europeans and Americans are those who are coming to help us with our farming. Yet we have the biggest pieces of land around that we can use for farming. Burkina Faso is showing a brotherly love I hope it goes beyond just, oh, because we are partners. It should be the whole of Africa. Congratulations. Dash it away. When we return, we shall be reading your messages. Keep your messages coming in. Hey! Wayo!
Blackpot, Coco show, man.
This is the Black Pot, aka Coco. Here we speak truth to power. Let's see the messages. Keep sending your messages in. We're going to try and read as many as we can. Send the messages in. All right? So this one is from YouTube. And Kambadi Samsidin says, welcome, welcome, Black Rasta. With the wait for you to complete the weekend. And Aflakui Senanu says, good evening, Black Rasta. Music is food for the soul, and Black Pot is medicine for the mind. Rewinding the minds of the youth. Blessed love. Henyon Raphael says, thank God it's Friday, and Black Rasta is here to prepare us for the weekend. Preach on, my brother, and keep the fire of patriotism up. Fire of patriotism up. Up and running till we all in Africa learn to be patriotic. And then Heshbache TV says, you are welcome, Black Rasta. We are ready. Blessed Love Tina Ray says, good evening, my brother. Teach us how to be patriotic. Admire your fabrics so much. Kindly help find some more for me. All right. Greetings from London. Blessed Love Tina Ray. And Benjamin Kwanzaa says, this is the Black Pot. Come here. You think say you day wise. Black Rasta, please. If Ajua Safo was to be your sister, what advice would you give to her? Oh, that's a good one. I will tell her that start by telling them that you are not running for any post because you are still handling some vital things around. And then you apologize to the whole of Ghana. Or else, if you apologize alone, the mindset is going to be that because you want to come back and run. If I were here, I will sacrifice the next 4 years. No election. Tell the people, I'm not running for any election. I'm not taking any appointments, but I'm going to support my party and support the nation. It's a way to stay behind and acclimatize myself more with the people whilst I deal with some other family issues left, right, and center. You don't wait for us to vote you into power. Then you come and tell us family first. A few days later, you come and apologizing to us that you are sorry. You must be crazy. Okay, so I've given you that. And Reginald Ni Ayitenunu says, thank God it's Friday. Come here. And this is Delacue. He says, Black Rasta, much love and respect each and every time. We are blessed to have you. I'm blessed to have you too. Olivius Unwinzi says, hello, Black Rasta. Hey, Baumia becomes genuinely the next president. Then the people of Ghana are mediocre people, of course. Of course. Yeah. Suleimana Mohammed says, I respect you and your truthfulness. Please continue to speak Truth to power. Thank you so much, Suleiman Mohammed. Kambadi Samsidin says, if it is not his fault because our so-called leaders have failed many African countries, which created an opportunity for him to come and insult us this way. Yeah, well, you are right. You are right. And he says, France president should tell us his achievement in Africa and should tell us the amount of resources France took out of Africa. That's the question. You have come to help impoverish us, even in the days of colonialism and imperialism. Then you come back and tell us that we are giving birth too much. Then you come back and tell us that our problem is a problem of colonization. Sure. Amar Abdurrahman says he is a fool. Tell them the truth, Black Rasta. Kambadi Samsidin says, I beg you, Black Rasta, I want you to educate us about the Niger coup situations. Why are Africans not bold to defend our neighbors? Is the style they use to kill Muammar Gaddafi, right? It's time for them to unite. Well, we've talked about the coup over and over. Maybe you missed some of them. Please go back into the archives on YouTube and you'll be able to see what we said about the Niger coup and all that. And even the Gabon coup, right? Reno says, come here, dash. Ajeduna says, Blakk, dash it away. Of course, this is Facebook. It says, well, it's still YouTube. It says, Fedway Inks. Hey, posterity will judge this Akufo-Addo government harshly. Nemesis is catching up with them soon. I agree with you. And then E&E says, Patwa show. Are you sure? Benjamin Kwanzaa says, please, Rasta, I don't blame the France president because if a Ghanaian gets a France visa, it is like he's going to heaven. That's correct. J. Coolman says, it's a lie. I met JJ. He praised Nkrumah. We met him. So you see, J. Coleman, you are living in denial. And I understand. The way JJ was, we all would have wished that he didn't say that. There's a documentary. Go and look at the overthrow of Nkrumah on YouTube. Kwesi Pratt and the rest are in it, including Rawlings. And hear what he said about Nkrumah. You will cry. It's not a lie. Facebook. All right, some of us on Facebook. Kwame Ben says Blakk. Alpheus Minta says Blackport. David Panford says more fire. David Panford says Otololo. And Hodu Kotoka says hi. Kwame Ben says yay. And Chemo Ban says watching from Sierra Leone. Hey, Salon, love and respect every time. Giba Victor says Blackport. Akwesi Asante says Blackport. Kamaldeen Imoro says speaking truth to power. Kwame Ben says cook it Blakk. Abubakar S. Bukas says aka Kukushonomo. Hey, Dawuni Fatau says great man with fire. Love and respect. And Ansa Bright is full of love for the show. And Singzel dress code says yes. That guy called Emmanuel Macron needs to respect Africans. And Yao Shadrach Skeleton says more fire. Jamestown Mugabe says 100%. He agrees. Nana Yao says Ghana first. And Sinzel dress code says no wonder Macron is married to an older. That's actually not a problem. You can get married to a woman who is 20 years older than you. The thing is that if there's love, it's all right. I really don't want to look at that personal aspect of his life. His problem is what he has said about Africa. Yeah? Alidu Abdallah says, I never thought this program was being shown live. I thought it was recordings. Oh, sir. All right, well, now you're seeing it live. And Sinzel Desco says, France is wicked. Solejima Wena says, good evening, Blakk, you are too much. Jacob Adwembi is laughing. Abubakari Yushau says, I agree, thumbs up. So Lejima Wena says, now Francophone nationals in Africa will start to think. Bradley Short, how come an African pays tax in Africa? A continent that has all the natural resources and fertile land. I still don't understand. Lack of knowledge, my people perish. Well, we have to pay tax. The tax is what is going to be used to do so many different things. It's a way of paying homage to our own motherland. What you are trying to say, I do understand that we have the gold and diamond already, so we don't need to pay tax. We should just use it. No. We need to pay tax to also build up for the next generation. See? We need it. Sinzel dress code says, tell them Black Rasta. Tom Poe says, blame our leaders who go to them and beg for loans and share amongst themselves. Kwesi Ahiagbe says, Blakk, preach the gospel to them. And then Faoud Alassane says, useless President Akufo-Addo. Eja Kwame says, good evening, Black Rasta. It's good to have you on Facebook Live so that we poor people also can enjoy Blackport. Oh, you could have also come on YouTube. It's the same. Right? Alexander Kwesi says, Blakk, as ZANETOR is one of the women that will change Ghana if the time comes. We pray and we shall watch and we would also be able to guide. Keep your messages coming in. We'll take the last batch of your messages very soon. In the interim, we have a few minutes now. Let me check how many more minutes we have so that, all right. I see it. Okay, so we have just a few more minutes and then we'll be running. Next story, blow it. He says what? NDC, NPP failed Ghana. Who is saying that? And this is very important. I need to spend a little bit of time on this, like 5 minutes. How many of us know this man? The other day he called me and said, Black Rasta, I thank you for everything you are doing for Ghana. And I felt it deep inside me. Dr. Frimpong Boateng, that's his name. The sacked minister. He's a medical doctor. He's achieved a lot. But listen to what the man is saying. Run it, my youth. NPP, NDC have failed to develop prosper Ghana. Professor Frimpong Boateng. Run the story. Ghana has not done as well as it should have done. Since President Kwame Nkrumah was unconstitutionally ousted from office through a military coup by the National Liberation Council on February 24, 1966. World-renowned heart surgeon Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng has said, he said Ghana has had 3 other interruptions of government, noting that the present Fourth Republic, dominated by the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party, has not brought the transformational change that will put the country on a path of sustainable development and prosperity for its people. I dare say that the fight ahead of Ghana is greater than the fight for political independence, and it cannot be won with leaders who lack the zeal, commitment, and conviction to confront their own demons and other forces and headwinds that are against the development of the country. The former Minister of Environment, Science and Technology wrote in an article titled An Open Letter to Anybody Who Wants Ghana, who wants to be Ghana's president in January 2025. Wow. And this is a full article. It's long. I will not be able to read everything. I will just skip, go to the next page. My brother, go to the second paragraph and watch this. This is very important. It says, the first example of transformational leadership is from Singapore. When the government of Lee Kuan Yew, do we all know Lee Kuan Yew? He became prime minister in 1959, thereabout, 2 years after Ghana, I think. This is Lee Kuan Yew. And there's something that professor is talking about that we all need to look at. Hey! Lee Kuan Yew took office in 1959. Okay, so I'm correct. You see, it set out to have a clean administration. The prime minister said that we are sickened by the greed, corruption, and decadence of many Asian leaders. And we had the deep sense of mission to establish a clean and effective government. This was a solid commitment from the newly elected Prime Minister, with determination and a credible program committed to scientific and technological advancement. Lee Kuan Yew and his team were able to live up to their good intentions, and Singapore, which in 1819, just recently, 1819 was a whole village with 120 fishermen without natural resources and hinterland. In 1819, the whole of Singapore was a village of 120 fishermen without any natural resources, no gold, no diamond, no bauxite, nothing. Move on. Nothing. Yet they propelled themselves from third world squalor, that's poverty, to first world influence in just 35 years. We were independent 2 years before this man took over. This was commitment and a sense of mission personified. In fact, there was a minister in his regime who had taken some bribe, and the media got to know and put it out. He went trying to convince the prime minister to talk for him. The prime minister said, anything you say here shall be held against you in the law courts. The man committed suicide. We've talked about this before in the African history class and all that. He committed suicide. But here, our president, after the media found out that a woman had millions of dollars under her bed and other homes, he said, you shall be exonerated. Lee Kuan Yew, in 1819, where was Ghana? Even 1900, when Ya Asantewaa was carried all the way to the Seychelles Island, we were already developed. Singapore had 120 fishermen running around like headless jacks. These people were colonized by Britain. They learned Chinese. Jesus have mercy. Continue with the story. The professor told us two different things. One from Singapore and the other one from China. Look at it. The second example is from China. The economic development taking place in China is the result of an initiative taken by 4 scientists. On the 3rd of March 1986, 4 of China's top weapons scientists, Wang Daheng, Wang Gangchang, Yang Jiaqi, and Cheng Fangyong, jointly sent a private letter to Deng Xiaoping, the leader of the country, with a warning that decades of relentless focus on militarization had crippled the country's civilian scientific establishment. They recommended that China must join the world's new technological revolution or it will be left behind. Dash. So China was only interested in weapons. Yeah, if America attacks us, we fire them back. We have submarines. We have weapons of mass destruction. And these 4 scientists said, hey, you are over-militarizing China. We are going to be left behind in technology. Let's start it. Today, China is one of the topmost. It's a big threat to the US and the rest of the powers of the world. When are we starting? I have been so inspired by Lee Kuan Yew. In fact, if he was African, I would have called myself Lee Kuan Yew. I've read about him so wide. When I sleep, I hear his voice talking to me in his impeccable English with a little Chinese flavor. Rise, rise, rise. We need a leader with that common sense of purpose and patriotism. Can you see that in Nana Akufo-Addo? Can you see that in Joka Baumia? Can you see that in Mahama? Can you see that in the rest of the leaders? Ask yourself. But it's not too late. You can develop it now. Tell the people that you want to change. And this Singaporean man, Lee Kuan Yew, hey, you know what he did? He started punishing corrupt people from the top. If your boss's own boss is punished, then you, under the cellar, you know that you are ungongo. You are worm for fish. But here, institutionalized corruption. President is a clearing agent. And when we say like this, some people say we are bitter. Bitter about who and what? With all this track record, several years from when we didn't have a beard till the beard came and even grace are coming in. It's one of the things that a lot of Ghanaians even look at and they say that, oh, Black Rasta is credible. He's never been involved in any of this nonsense. To God be the glory. Come here! Next story, we are done. Hey, dash it, quick. This is going to last only 2 minutes. And I'm done. Asamoah Gyan chases away Abena Korkor. Who's Abena Korkor? Do you know Abena Korkor? She's been coming here. By now, I'm sure she came to knock at the gate and she saw, oh, live, and she decided to walk back. She's pretty, isn't she? Very beautiful woman. Look at her. She might not be your kind of woman, but she's pretty. I am quite close to her, but she's never mentioned my name because I didn't do what the others did. If you do it, she will say it. So if you don't want her to say it, don't do it. I know when people approached and they wanted to eat her apples. And she told them that, you see, now I'm okay. But when the tin comes, I will mention your name. And if I mention you, might hate me. So don't do it. But they went ahead to taste the apples and she brought it out. When she comes here, she tells me so many things. She knows she's not well. She's suffering bipolar. And of course, she's also experimenting with drugs, left, right, and center and all that. I might not be in the right position to mention some of these things. But that's what it is. So if you go and take advantage of this young lady, and she comes out and blows it out, that is unto you. Some people have seen my photograph with her out. They say, hey, she will mention you, or she will mention, and I keep telling them, she won't mention those who don't eat her food. Abena Korkor is not crazy to the point where she has become euphoric. What are we saying? Asamoah Gyan. You all know him, right? Baby Jet. That's him. I love him. He's my brethren. Unfortunately, I've never met him. He used to be the captain of the Black Stars. He contributed his quota. Run the story. Quick. I promise 2 minutes. How I sacked desperate Abena Korkor from my car. Asamoah Gyan narrates. Run the story. Former Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan has revealed the sequence of events that led to his strained relationship with controversial socialite Abena Korkor. Abena Korkor Ado. Yes. In his account, Gyan explained that his refusal to offer Abena Korkor a ride in his car after an event they attended contributed to her negative perception of him and her subsequent public criticisms. According to Gyan, Abena Korkor had made advances towards him, which he chose not to reciprocate. He described her intentions as attempts at romantic involvement, leading him to distance himself from her. Gyan noted that the decision he took is what he believes to have ultimately led to her dislike of him and her efforts to tarnish his reputation. That's it. You see, Gyan, I also spoke with Abena Korkor. And she said, well, when I met him, he was interested in me. He invited me several times to his house. But I respect that man so much. I didn't want to go and sleep with him. And then later I'll come out and say it and everybody will hear. He invited me several times. But when I relapsed and started mentioning people's names, I met him again. And I went to sit in his car. And he sacked me. So it's true what Asamoah Gyan is saying. He really sacked her. That leave. He said, oh, just give me a lift to the wherever. He said, no, you leave. You see, we have to understand what mental illness is. Treat people who are not mentally stable well. Sacking her from out of your car doesn't make you a hero. You know what makes you a hero? Contributing to her medication. You know what makes you a hero? Sharing a meal with her. Talking to her and helping her to stay away from drugs. That's what makes you a hero. If you sack Abena Korkor from your car, it doesn't make you a hero. It doesn't make you a champion. I sympathize with her. Sometimes she comes here, I don't even have anything, but I have to pull something from somewhere and buy her a drink. She said, I want this drink. I said, I don't buy that drink for people. I can buy you a bottle of water. I try as much as possible not to put money in her hand because she might use it to buy something that I would not endorse. I'm not saying anything. She's a lovely girl. If this was your sister, if she went through these problems, I'm not sure you would be happy saying you sacked her from your car. She's not well. She's not well. I pray for good health for Abena Korkor, and I pray that this embarrassment will leave your life. I pray that you shall stand strong and proclaim the kingdom of the Most High. That those people who are looking up to you as a negative element, brilliant as you are, because of no fault of yours, you shall overcome. Amen. This is the Blackport. We are going. Bitter Bless GH says, cool man, please be careful. You don't know history that Black Rasta didn't know. Oh, Bitter Bless, cool down. You know, we are learning from each other. You know, yeah, take it easy. We are learning from each other. He might know something that I don't know. I'm not the custodian of, you know. Anyway, I see the point you're trying to make, but easy. It's a whole family. King says, Black Rasta, I love your show. More fire. Norbert Kelly says, hey, greetings, everyone. And Osetutu says, shame on ECOWAS. Oh, yes. Fisher says, they are not leaders. They are called rulers. And hail Marcus. I love this brother here. He says, big up my king. Peace and blessings to you. King Blakk. Watching you live again from Denver, Colorado. Respect my brethren. Love. And this is Facebook, right? Facebook, we have a lot of people on Facebook as well. They say, I'm watching you live from CB. Where is CB? Wow, I would love to visit CB, SIBI. Where is it? Which part of? Is it in Ghana? Please let's know where it is, right? Blessed love. And his name is Che Kimani Jabab. Ebenezer Akandrugu says, teach Black Rasta, teach. And Eja Kwame says, point of correction. Was it Rawlings himself who pulled the trigger? Oh, okay, I see the point you're trying to make. He's talking about those who were shot. It was in his regime. He didn't pull the trigger himself. No. But it was in his regime. And many believe that he went through the same kangaroo court and all that. You understand? Nanado might not be the person stealing the money. But in his regime, if people steal, we will attribute it to him. I hope you understand. All right. So, Singzel dress code says, bravo, President Ibrahim Traore. Thanks for the tea. You know what it means to say tea? The tea. All right. Alexander Kwesi says, Black Rasta, on the seventh day that God was resting, Satan took the opportunity to create African leaders. And that's what we are getting for African leaders. Watching you from Ontario, Canada. Blessed love, guidance. But we have some good ones as well. We have to push them. Bradley Sharp says, some African leaders aren't ready to make Africa great. That's correct. And Holiday says, Black Rasta, watching you from Niger. Hey, keep the fire blazing. How's Niger? Is it cool? Is it nice? You like the way it is now? Audu Yusuf says, more fire, bro. And Omoregbe, Charles Esiosa. I love that name. I love you, Big Black Rasta. And Tom Poe says, my first time watching this program live. Please tell other people about it and share this broadcast. We love you. We appreciate you. It's been the African, I almost said African history class. I do so many things. History, Blackport, something from the mountain, reggae music and all that. This has been the Black Pot, aka Kukushonomo. We think say it wise. I'll see you again on Monday. I love you. Please tell everybody we're on Facebook as well, also on YouTube. Soon we're also going to be on some other such networks. To God be the glory. Thanks to you, we are spreading our news. Hey! Wayo!